compared to some other community. Oh! That was clean, I'm not gonna lie. That was fucking sexy. Wow, okay. Wow, okay. Let's talk about this. All right, getting into this video. It's like 8 in the morning right now, and I decided I'm gonna do one of the most in-depth videos I've ever done. The reason I'm making this video is not only just pure impulse. I just decided, fuck it, I'm gonna make a video today because I know it's been like 2 months or something. I barely play this game. I typically play other games now, but anyway, what I'm gonna do in this game, and I noticed from like recent comments in some of my other videos, I would go over a situation and I would explain that what a player is doing is bad, but I wouldn't always be as thorough as I could be on the options thereafter that they could do instead. So I'm going to take this video, I'm going to break down literally like every single option that you could do in a given situation, especially when I call it out. One thing to understand about options in this game is you're going to have a lot of options in each situation. I would say on average, each little frame of a game that you could find yourself in, you typically have at least 3 options. You can have up to 6, 7 options, but the higher you kind of go in that list, typically they have lower success rates. Like you're going to have multiple options that you can do in a game of Rocket League. But not all of those options are going to be very good, right? There's going to be some options that are going to be better than others, and the way that you determine which option is better is just through the variables in gameplay. This is why I preach awareness so much, because if you are aware of these variables, you're typically able to make better decisions. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this game. I'm not going to be looking from anyone's POV in particular. We're just going to be going in, getting a broad view of all of the gameplay. I guess we'll look from Jack first. I don't really see a problem with that. Basic cheat up on kickoff. We see Drawley. Drawley's definitely going to do a high pop into the air. We do have a Jorus back right in this situation. He's going to be grabbing a full boost, so it's probably going to be between them. We can already see Drawley slowing his momentum down. The reason that we slow the momentum down in this area is because he doesn't want to give advantage to Jorus. If he hits the ball too far out in this situation, Jorus gets a little bit of advantage. It's going to be a little bit easier for him to challenge, and we kind of want to prevent all of that. Not only that, but if we slow a little bit before this pop, we're typically going to be closer to the ball, which gives us action on the ball a little bit sooner, which is always helpful. We're always looking for these little millisecond gains, or even just half-second gains, whatever, you know, metric we want to use in that situation. But you know what other things, you know, I'll play it out, but you can I mean, it's very obvious what was going to happen there. But anyway, what other things could have Drawley done in this situation? Drawley could take the ball and dribble the ball here. The only problem with dribbling the ball, and why we typically, you know, would want to avoid it, like I'm not saying this is a bad option, this is actually like a decent option, but it's too reliant on who wins this midfield boost battle, whether it's Vatira or Stizzy. If Stizzy ends up winning that battle, then Stizzy has a pretty quick cut option into Drawley here, and so we could do that, but you would have to really know who's going to win this boost battle here, and it's oftentimes just not worth it, because it's just not a very consistent decision. Even if we take this out of the equation, like sometimes the cheating player may have a little bit more boost and can actually pressure this, right? So like we could see an Abjack come forward and immediately press Drawley if he decides to dribble. So taking it into the air, and you see this a lot because it's just typically a good option. You avoid the mid boost battle and any cuts in that situation typically. The player that's cheating usually doesn't have enough boost to actually challenge you in the air, so oftentimes it's a really good idea. It's pretty much a 1v1 between whoever grabs the full boost in the back, so we want to stay away from that option. There's options over here where like Drawley could have like banged the ball off wall here and then went for something. It's just too high boost. It's just silly. There's like no point in doing anything like that. Also, so like even if Drawley decided to dribble, George could just save all his boost as well. So it's like you could do that option, absolutely. But this is just a very good option. I'd say it's one of the best options you can do in this situation. No other options are going to be super good. I really do like the 50 though from George and Drawley in this situation. We'll go ahead and play it out from here. I'll let you guys see it. But we can see that very slow touch, very good air roll here going into the 50. I have no problems with that. George played that well. Drawley played that well. It's pretty good. Let's look into this. Ooh, Vatira. Go ahead and give Vatira a look. Vatira just panicked like all hell in this situation. Like, how could we have prevented this panic? Typically, you can prevent this panic, which he just needed a better angle in this situation. He turned in very aggressively, not really accounting for where this 50 could have went. I would have honestly said that we should have played a little bit more of this angle. I think being like coming in here is not an inherently bad thing by any means, but it definitely isn't accounting for how volatile this situation could have been in the air. And because we didn't account for that, we accounted for a very offensive option. We wanted something very offensive, and so when the ball is put in this situation, it's very hard to not go for that. So I understand why Vatira is doing this, but we can see it's just like we used a lot of boost and we really didn't get much out of it. We're not really forcing Abject to get anything. We can see an Addo right here, but Addo's not going to be able to do shit here. I mean, Addo's preing, which he can absolutely do that if he wants to. But once again, in this situation, Dig, they're just gonna have so much boost. I actually don't like Abject going for this at all. I would much rather Stizzy go for this. But anyway, we're getting caught up. Let's go ahead and go back and like look at some options here. So Joru's off wall like this, I don't really disagree with this. What Addo could have done instead is just literally just zone this area. Zoning this area is really good, because Addo, okay, here's the thing. We want to zone this area, but we want to cut Stizzy off. We do not want to allow Stizzy to get the ball. If Stizzy starts turning in and showing intent to go for the ball, then Addo should just jump. We should never chance this. So this is kind of what Addo's doing now. He's not even like chancing the situation. He just wants to get in the air like immediately. But it's a bit unbalanced. Like it's a bit early, right? Because ultimately we want Jorus to have to use boost off of here. And if we jump early, it gives Jorus the chance to no longer use boost and just opt for a 50 instead. Like he can just kill that momentum in the air, sit behind the ball and play a 50, and he saves a large amount of boost while Addo has to come all the way to him and then play the 50. And there's no point in Addo doing all of that if Jorus isn't going to have any offensive opportunities, and it's just going to make things easier for him on defense. So I don't agree with this. But if we zone and then really just cut off the Stizzy option, you know, we could still like be over here, and you can see we can still play on the ball. We also have a teammate here as well, so that gives Drawley some offensive options as well, maybe even some better ones. Drawley has the option of coming up the wall here and playing something off the wall. He can take a touch and then wait for Vatira to get boost and then come in. So this is going to be a really good form of pacing. That would be super good. Drawley could just kind of play ground here, wait for the ball to drop, and then he can play an aerial play right here. And then Addo, once again, Addo would have already saved his boost in this situation. So Addo would still be down here with roughly 70, 80 boost maybe. So that gives them more offensive pressure. So there's just a lot of different things that could have been really good. The reason I don't really like Abject going for this, and we'll look at it from Abject's POV, but it's just like Stizzy is in a very strong position. Even if Abject gets this, yes, Dig is going to get field progression, 100%. Dig is 100% going to get field progression, so they're going to be able to get up the field, but we have Vatira back here, which is why I don't really like this option. But if we let Stizzy come up, Stizzy already has pretty comfortable options here. So there was no real need for Abject to do this, but is this a bad decision? I wouldn't say so. No, I would just say that there's other decisions that would have been better in this situation. And you can see it's exactly as I said. Like Stizzy, it's just easier for Stizzy. We can make the argument like, oh, Abject going up made Drawley go higher, but that's not inherently true. And that also doesn't mean that Abject couldn't have played any lower options from Drawley in this situation as well. So I would have said overall, if we would have saved that turn a little bit, we would have conserved boost. There's this like awful forcing shit that people love to say about like everything. Like, oh, I'm just forcing. It's literally the most brain rotted dumb shit I've ever heard in my fucking life. Because here's the thing, like just because you go doesn't inherently mean someone is going to do something specific. I think that logic is just incredibly flawed. I think in this situation, what could have happened instead, and we'll look at it again here, but it's like I can see what Abject is seeing in this situation, which is why I'm saying like this isn't a bad thing. I just want to clarify that this is not a bad decision he's doing. And it makes sense, but overall, I just see the better option being Stizzy playing the situation. Abject can still play the low options. There's nothing wrong with the low options. With how Drawley is going up, Abject would still be able to play all of those low options just fine, and it gives a little bit more time for Stizzy to come by. So that's the biggest reason behind that, but I don't think that was a bad decision by any means. Okay, let's look at this. What's going on here? I like Stizzy playing this right here. This is good. I like all of that. Notice this is a very intentional delay on the 50 here. Oh, look at that. I like that recover. We can see in a situation waiting for the timing. 50s are mainly timing. A lot of people, you know, they have this like misconception that is almost all of it is just based off of where you put yourself on the ball, and that definitely plays a part. 100%, that is absolutely a part of it. But a lot of 50s are more so timing than anything. I would actually give more value to timing than placement on the ball, even though they do work together in a sense. But I do like that from Stizzy. That was good. We'll go ahead and look at Vatira's thing here. Really good touch, not the exact touch he wanted to. He wanted to be a little bit more stuck to his car, but this is okay. There's no problem here. I like that touch actually. It's just if it was executed better, he would have had more options, but he worked out of that touch the best he could, I would say. Nothing wrong with that. Ado, but look at this. I feel like I would have rather had the ball stop a little bit more in this corner here, especially because of Jurali's positions and Vatira's positions. So I think, yeah, and it seems like Ado really did want to stop it here. I think it was just a poor execution in this situation, which is okay. I like this though, getting in the way of Jory's immediately. Notice like Ado doesn't jump or anything. Like I feel like some lower ranks in the situation, they might jump and be very eager to get on the ball. But Ado's entire role there is simply disruption. He doesn't have to do anything with the ball. He doesn't even have to touch the ball in that situation. He just has to make it awkward enough for Joru's for his teammate to be able to come in and do something beneficial, which is exactly what happened here. So I like that a lot. That's definitely pretty good. Nice. I like that disruption from Jolly. We get a demo come out. We'll look at this. Could Abjack have done anything different? No, this is fine. Dude, oh my god, I hate these fucking wave dashes, bro. Can we please stop doing this shit? Like this is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. I'm not hating on Abjack either. It's just like, it's not even just him that does this. It's just so many people, dude. It's just the concept itself that I hate. But it's like Abjack puts himself a bit further than the ball in this situation. And so now he's all the way up here, and now he has to turn all the way back here. It makes no sense. You cannot look at this and tell me that this makes any sense at all. But what could he have done different, right? Because, you know, I'm not going to say that and say nothing. What could he have done different? Literally fucking nothing. He literally could have just done nothing instead. In this situation, simply anchoring this, because Abjack knows in this situation, Jory is going to have to play the 50. He's going to have to play the 50, or at the very least, Abjack's going to have to play something off of Jolly, because Abjack can see this interruption here. So if Abjack just zoned this instead, look at how different this is. Look at how different it is. I mean, the angles here are just completely different. And one of them is significantly easier than the other. So I think this is just a massive oversight. I don't think that wave dash was necessary, but I like this. This is good. Looking for a very soft touch here. It's going to give Jory some time to reposition. Stizzy some time to reposition. He's going to have some options here. So I don't disagree with this. Does get disrupted a little bit and then ends up getting demoed. But I like that. Nothing wrong with that at all. That was pretty good. Ado. We'll look at this. See what his intentions were. Seems like this was intentional. I like that a lot. That's really good. Jolly, ooh, that's not bad. I don't really disagree with Jolly going for that or Stizzy going for it. I think in a situation like this, you kind of need to take the chance, right? So like, let's look at this from Jolly. But in this situation, it's completely reasonable, even with Vatira right there, for Jolly to go for this. And it's because it's not so risky that he can go for this and not be like, oh, I'm gonna fucking score it on, right? Because Vatira is gonna end up coming out by the time he does end up going for this. And if he does end up getting this, it would be pretty good for their offense if he gets a pretty good beat. But I don't disagree with that at all. Vatira, this is like okay. I don't really like it because we don't have anyone that can really follow up on something like this. And not only that, Vatira himself can't follow up with it. But I do understand, like, this was pretty much like one of the main things that he could have done here. We don't want to like stop it. Like there is an option of like jumping a little bit more above the ball, so you get a little bit more down, and then it kind of pops into this corner. But it's really unreliable, and it's kind of hard to really understand exactly where it's gonna go. But it would have worked out because of Ado. So even if the touch would have been super awkward, Ado could have been able to come in and play support. But at the very least, we just wanted to put something like down here. Even if it's down and it bounces into the corner, that's significantly better than putting this like up and out, right? Like this, because now we don't have any follow-up. And Abjack is on that shit like literally incredibly quick. So, which I don't really disagree with. I actually like this decision, because in this, like, see, this is different from the other situation. This situation, it's like, yes, we want to get on the ball here because we have a slight advantage in this situation. Like, we have advantage. Vatira popped the ball out. Addo is not really in a super supportive position for that touch specifically. So getting on this ball super quick here is really good. It's going to prevent Addo from being able to push out of net and Vitir from being able to push out of his position. It kind of deadlocks them a little bit because they have to respect it since Appjack is occupying that space so quickly. And that's why you can see like Addo's going to end up turning around. I don't even know why Addo popped out so much. Like, what the fuck is going on? All right. I don't agree with this. Okay, so in this situation, it seems like Addo is allowing Vatira to play that while Drawley is coming back, like on opposite side. So he's kind of putting Vatira in an ISO situation, which I don't inherently disagree with, but it's just unnecessary. Like, I feel like this is unnecessary, but it could work. Like, Appjack versus Vatira here, Vatira has some advantage, so I don't really think it's like a terrible thing that. And you see we have Drawley here, right? So like Addo can do this technically, he can, and then I guess we can just loop Drawley in, but it just seems a bit unnecessary. But this would be something good if he ends up getting it. I just don't see a demo happening on Joru's here while Joru's is literally facing right at him. I think it would be very weird if Joru's got demoed by a player facing head on. Not saying it can't happen. But yeah, this works because, you know, Drawley can come in like this. And like I said previous, like Appjack versus Vatira here is like, it's not bad. Like, this can absolutely happen. There's nothing wrong with this. So I don't disagree with his like original ISO. It just seems a bit unnecessary. Well, so now we have this situation where we just created the 2v2 for like seemingly no reason. And like I said, Joru's, it would just be really weird if Joru's just got demoed. I mean Joru's got demoed, yes, but like, I mean, it was very clear what Addo was doing. Like, I don't think Joru's was like, oh fuck, where did that come from? Holy shit, wow, he surprised me. You know, like, no, dude. It was the most obvious shit ever. I just feel like Addo would have had more value like somewhere else. But like I said, he can do that technically. He can do that because the play allows for it. The structure of his team allows for it. So it's whatever. Okay, there's a bunch of shit going on. Let's go on. I don't think I'm breaking down as many options as I could, but I'm gonna try and break down more. There's just so much always going on. I don't really disagree with what Appjack did in that situation. That's fine. I do like what Vatira did here. He knew that Appjack was going to be on this pretty quick. I don't even disagree with this either. Some people, you know, we could look at this and say that he's quite panicky, but realistically, he's going to have someone eventually that's going to be able to play on that, like Drawley. And so we just don't even want Stizzy to turn on that. Like, we don't want to let players turn typically. We want to play speed to keep players facing their half. We don't want to allow players to be able to turn in a lot of situations. So you just have to understand kind of where the momentum of the play is, you know, where the other players are facing, who has options, who doesn't have options. That kind of allows you to determine what your speed is going to be a little bit better. So that's cool. I do like what Drawley did though. Let's go ahead and look for Drawley. Yeah, nice. Good 50. Immediately tries to play that interruption. Knew that Jory was going to avoid it, so he didn't commit to it too hard. I like that a lot. Addo, that's fine. That's cool. Okay. I like that from Drawley. Nice. I like that. All of that was pretty good. Let's go ahead and break this down. So immediately, there's a couple of things that Drawley could have done, but honestly, taking it into the air here, I will say is going to have some of his best outplay potential. If he stays too much on the ground here, all that's going to happen is Stizzy is going to play this 50, and it's just going to let Appjack push into a supported position. Now Drawley still has like Vatira back here, but we just don't really want to be stagnant here. Like, this isn't really a good place to slow or anything like that. Like, you can get away with slow options here because it would technically let Vatira get a little bit more boost, and Addo get further back. But I just think in this situation, Drawley has enough boost to be quite sustainable even without a support teammate initially. Like, he's going to get a beat on Stizzy here. And, you know, I don't really disagree with Stizzy going for it either, because if Stizzy wins that, it's also going to be good for him. So they're both, this is a very like 50-50 moment of like how the next like play is going to go. And we can already see some action from Appjack, but we are going to have some like Drawley, like fucking, or Addo, like with a full boost over here. So that's really important to pay attention to, but Appjack's playing this pretty well so far. I liked all of that. Pretty good interruption by Addo. I actually don't disagree with that. He definitely can use his boost to be able to do that because of the boost spread that Vatira and Drawley have. If your teammates have a lot of boosts like that, you can typically get away with using your boost to do something beneficial. So nothing wrong with that. Okay. Wow, there's a lot of shit going on here. I think Drawley knew that there was someone there, and then he was going to try and play that 50. That didn't end up happening, so... Oh, I like this a lot. Immediately going for that boost. Let's go over here. Look at Vatira. See what Vatira is up to in Addo. Okay, really good. Probably a comm that came out there that Addo got. Vatira really laned into there really well. It didn't have to be a comm, but sometimes you can just tell. Okay, it's pretty good by Appjack, actually. I like that disruption. Addo looks like he's in a really weird position for where he was previously, which means he probably, like, jumped for the ball or some shit. I don't know why he fucking did that. I could tell because this is just a very... Actually, no, I know why. He wants to open options on his right, which could work, but oftentimes doing this, you're typically going to be a little bit, like, slower. Unless you just literally do this motion and then immediately kick out, which is possible, but yeah, no, I just don't like that. But what could he have done differently is the question. All right, let's look at the other options in this situation. The other options in this situation is, first of all, we don't do this fucking jump because it's like, you know, we're still gonna have to deal with Stizzy regardless if we do this jump or not. We could do this jump and immediate kick out, but he didn't do that, so that's a problem. If you're gonna go up here, you need to do that quick kick out, especially if you have a support through mid. If you're not gonna do that, it's kind of just a waste of time. You might as well just sit here, right? Play this forward, and then he has a lot of immediate forward options here, and he also will typically have a lot better 50s. Just being able to face on and being able to time this appropriately. So there's that. He would also have options to dribble and then kick through mid as well, maybe do a flick option. So the same thing that he could have done with the other option where he immediately jumps up and then kicks out, he could dribble and then flick out as well. There's not going to be any follow-up from Jorus, so that's one thing. So yeah, that's another option that he definitely should have done in this situation if he wasn't going to fully execute this one. So that's what I think. I mean, this isn't like terrible after the fact. It's just like we kind of put ourselves in that position when we could have already like gotten some field progression. Pretty good demo. I like some of the looks that Addo's going for demos, but some of them are a bit ridiculous. But I like that one a lot. Pretty good by Drawley and Vatira. Drawley leaving off. Probably just let Appjack touch this again. Yeah, notice this gets a little bit below the ball. We want to get the ball high here. That's why Addo, you can see he's like kind of under the ball. Right, you don't want to just catch this and then try and take it down. The reason you don't want to do that, it just gives Joru's opportunities. It gives Appjack disruption opportunities. It just keeps you in your half. I'm assuming Addo is going to take the ball a little bit higher and just play a 50 through mid, because like he's not gonna have like a really super strong option. Yeah, it's like that's pretty much like all you can do in that situation, but that's still not bad. Like that's a pretty ideal thing, like just being able to play a 50 from there. We do have some support from Vatira. Stizzy, we don't really need to stop Vatira in this situation, but I think if anything, we should let Vatira use more boost. Because at the very least, if we are sitting grounded here and we're zoning this, not only are we letting Appjack get boost and get into a better position, because by the time that Appjack like gets this boost and comes in, like Vatira is still only going to probably be like in this area, and like maybe Stizzy is sitting here, and then maybe at that point Drawley's playing close support, and then Drawley's going to go, but it doesn't even matter because we've made Vatira use full boost, gave enough time for Appjack to come in with full boost, so now we can either offset it to Appjack and then just play defensive options like for him, or we can just go for it like ourselves, and then Appjack can play those defensive options with a full boost. So I wouldn't have recommended going up here, but and you can tell like the result of it. Now we have one less support, and it's a little bit more awkward on them, because Stizzy gave up their team structure to be able to go for the ball there, which I don't think is ideal. Okay, Stizzy is doing a little bit of unnecessary following in this situation. What could he have done differently? In this situation, I can understand the initial anchor out. Like the initial anchor out here is okay. We kind of want to anchor this option as well as this option from this general position, and we can like kick out to either one of those through this pathway here. So I don't agree with the initial anchor, but I disagree with the amount of momentum being played in the situation. Even if we go a little bit slower here, going slow in this situation doesn't put us at a higher risk, because the slower we go in this situation, it's like the more of this that we can cover, and this is what like Vatira, someone in the support role, would mainly be playing off of. If we play this situation slower, even if Addo decides to get a high pop out here, we can still push out, and we will be pushing out with momentum. So that's one big thing. But in this situation, if we literally just would have played like this, you know, like we have the option of going for the ball, or we have the option of backing up and letting Abject go for the ball. But Stizzy is butt naked. That guy's butt naked. He has no idea where he is. That's actually pretty good by Drawley. We'll look at this from Abject though. What could have Abject done differently? We should have just dropped it and played the 50. I think he knew it was already too late, and like I don't think that he accounted for this player being here, and so he kind of just said, "Oh shit," and he tried to like flick it, but it was just too late at that point, and I think he couldn't react like enough to be able to get the ball down, and maybe he was also scared of getting dunked, so he said, "Fuck it, let's get in there." Okay, this is like an okay decision. Ooh, wow, okay, that was actually played pretty well. I like this. Really good touches. Very minimal arrow. Hey, this is what we like to see. This is exactly how arrow should be used. Very nice touch here. Want to reduce some of that momentum. We want to reduce how far that touch is going to come up. This gives him really quick follow-up potential. Uses a little bit of boost and a little bit of air roll here to be able to get everything nice and efficient. Gets a super high touch up here. This is the perfect touch that could have happened, and manages to play the 50 out of it. It was brilliantly played. You really can't play air roll and stuff better than that, truly. Okay, nice. I don't disagree with Abject going there. That's nice. I like that. Immediately want to dissipate that pressure as soon as possible. I like that. Initial little look. Joris wants to know who's in the mid here. Can he get around Vatira? Can he put himself in a good supportive position? A lot of good questions as we go on here. Really unfortunate, but that's okay. What could have happened there? You just need to pay more attention. But that's it. Okay. Really don't want to get demoed in this situation. In this situation, I think Abject should have just played it a bit safer, but I think he said, fuck it, I'm just gonna fully commit to this. But him losing his life up here, it's just, we could have still like been relevant up there in this situation, but now he's gonna be further back. He is gonna have more boost here, which is good, but we could have stayed more relevant, maybe done some disruption, which would have helped our teammates out a lot. I like this. This is I like the idea, but the execution was kind of bad. But I do like sitting here. You know, I said this actually like a good amount of my videos, but sometimes you can just fucking sit there. This is a perfect execution of it. Like literally, what is Ada gonna do? Like, what can Ada do? There's literally no point in even rushing him here, because like he has to come to Abject in this situation. Like he has to meet him at his position, so he has no choice. It's just this was executed really bad. Yeah, no, that's unfortunate, but I do like what was going on initially. Pretty good bang out. Unfortunate. Could have been a goal actually, but at the very least, if not, it could have been a goal. Like Juries has, oh my god, they're getting fucking torn up right now. They need to pay attention. Getting demoed this much, it's just literally due to a lack of awareness. The gameplay really isn't that fucking fast, contrary to a lot of like plots, like what a lot of plots would say. Some players think this is like the fastest fucking game in the world. Like the gameplay is so incredibly quick. It's like, dude, your mechanics are just so shit. It's just unfathomable that you like could play any quicker. But that's just me ranting. You know, I'm gonna put out a fucking massive rant video. Actually, let me lock the fuck in. I don't really like this. It's just not executed well. Like, I get it conceptually what they're going for. It's just they're executing it so poorly. It's just this air roll and everything too. It's like, Drawley played this perfectly too, by the way. This is exactly how you like beat out situations like this. Because like I said, Drawley just disengages his boost. This is literally what I was just talking about. When you're in the air like that, you're thinking like, oh, I'm gonna disrupt their fucking play. Well, you're also disrupting how much boost they're using in the play. So now Drawley's gonna land with like 50. Look at this, he can immediately go for this. Well, if he didn't get fucking if he didn't die, you know, he could have immediately went for value. Immediately, because Stizzy wanted to get up in his face and shit, and it's like there's a time and a place for stuff like that, and that was just not the time and the place. In that situation, it would have been much better to let Stizzy at least zone it, or at the very least let someone like behind play. But oh, okay, what's going on? Holy fuck, what's going on here? Let's look at here. This is okay. I mean, it's fine. He could have done something different in that situation. Well, we'll look. I still think, I don't think this is a bad option. He has other options, but unfortunately, like a lot of those other options just don't work. I mean, I don't, you know, This is okay. This is okay. I mean, we could sit here and say like he could have taken this slower, but Ada would have literally disrupted. And then we also have Vatira back here, so like the slower that Stizzy, yeah. So I get why he went in the air. Going in the air here kind of prevents like immediate intervention from Ada. Like it could still happen, but and then Stizzy's just really trying to get like a high option over Drolly, but he'll settle for a 50, and which is okay because his teammates are not going to be able to come in and like play this space over here. So there's nothing inherently like wrong with this. I like this. Stizzy can stay somewhat relevant if he wants. Okay, let Joris come through. That's cool. I like that. Nothing wrong with that. How Joris is playing that is fine. Ooh. Everyone saw that one. I know y'all saw that. Yeah, so Drolly, it doesn't really look like there's anything going through Drolly's head here. It doesn't really look like there's any consideration for Vatira. It looks like in Drolly's head, Vatira is not even there, which would explain really what's going on here. But the thing is like, if Vatira is here, Drolly needs to be just here. And we can see that would have led to a dramatically different situation, but it didn't even look like Drolly was paying attention. Maybe he was just very locked in that situation, like very tunnel vision. We can argue, like, could Vatira have let him come through? Yeah, but it's just fucking useless to do that when Vatira can literally sit right in front of the ball and play it. Like, there's some people that genuinely think that Drolly should like be let through in this situation. If you feel that way, you're incredibly wrong, and you should probably rethink how you look at the game. But I'll break it down for you just so that you understand. But when you have a player right in front of the ball, that player is able to use their resources to go over the ball. There is literally no need for Drolly to come in here when Vatira can play it perfectly fine. There's no need. There's nothing that you can say in this situation that's like, oh yeah, let Drolly through. Because some people may be like, angle. Vatira has a better 50. If Vatira dips out and increases the amount of space between Drolly and Jorus, not only can Jorus have some outplay potential, but you have a chance of ruining the play or the situation by doing that. So there's just no point in opening up extra gaps of space when Vatira is already right under the ball, right? So make sure I'll keep that in mind. Just let your teammates play the fucking ball. There's no point for that. But that was cool by Abjack. Nothing wrong with that. Pretty light touch into the 50. Really good by Vatira as well. I don't disagree with any of those options. Did Abjack have other options? Let's go ahead and look at this. But it's like in this situation, your main option is go through the air. That's literally it. And there's a lot of different variations, but in this situation, when Vatira is this close, like no, Abjack really has, like mainly has the option of 50. Like he has the option of not doing anything, but that's just stupid. So, there was not much room for variation there. Okay, really good. I like this. Nothing wrong with this. Ooh, I actually like that. That's pretty well played. We'll go ahead and look at this. Abjack opting to go as far over here to the wall as we can, keeping these touches really light, very light air roll. We want to get to the ceiling. When we have the ceiling, not only do we have the under option, which is what it looks like he's initially trying to get, but we also just have the option of having a reset in the situation. And by having that reset, it allows us to play 50s up here. It allows us to make very quick variations or like very quick executions of different directions, which is nice, admittedly. And it's kind of what he's looking to do. He's not able to time it that well. Because who was that? Was that Jorus? That was someone. Not Jorus, sorry, Vatira. Vatira played this really well as well. Playing into the ceiling, didn't immediately jump and panic or anything. He timed that very, very well, which is why he got something super, super good out of it. So I liked it a lot. Jorus playing this a bit fast. We'll look at this. I think in this situation, I see what he's going for. He's going for the ceiling into the next touch, but he just, I didn't execute it how he wanted to. That's okay. That's okay. Conceptually, it's a pretty good idea. He just didn't execute it well. I actually really like that from Stizzy. Let's look at this. Look at this real quick. But in this situation, God, this is a good challenge. Now, it was a little close, but this is a good challenge to get. And it's like, if he didn't get it, it would have been a bit more risky for his teammate, but I feel like the risk was kind of worth it in this situation. I really do. He's going to be able to at least try and get something beneficial out of that. Unfortunate. This is just a matter of execution, not concept. So like the option he picked was like one of the better options in this situation. Like there's not really many other things that he could have done that were super good. 15 is the main option in this situation. That's really good. So he picked the main option, just didn't execute it that well, but that's okay. Jorus. Oh shit. Okay, let's look at what's going on in this little tidbit. I can be cool with what Joru's is doing. Like initially, it kind of puts off a lot of that threat to net immediately by putting it super deep over towards the wall, and it also gives some amount of follow-up potential from Stizzy as well. But and we can see that's exactly what happened. Even if Drawley, like, let's look at, could Drawley have done something different here is really the question. Like, in this situation, like Drawley, I feel like if Drawley really fully understood where every player like on the opposite team was in this situation, he does not do something like this. And if he did something like this just to do it, then that's that's bad and impulsive. Because in this situation, like just grounding it, if we understand the space between players in this situation, would have been pretty good, because he could have immediately came out, settled the ball somewhere in this area, and then he can immediately play cuts in this area. He can at the very least come up and like 50 Stizzy, which also would have been good. He could have tried to take it to the wall, but once again, he has possession of the ball and he's able to play 50s, which makes it really stronger and a lot stronger than what he went for here. But I don't think that he really truly identified that space, and I think he thought like if he took his time there that he would have gotten overwhelmed or like overrun. So I feel like that's what led into that, but really, really unfortunate. And this is why I preach awareness so much. You have to understand where players are in the field, because you can make such better decisions for yourself if you're able to do that. I like this off-ball value. Drawley can do this as long as that situation in his little back line like persists. Like we can see Vatira with the ball here. Vatira, you know, he can do whatever the fuck he wants, and Addo, he can do whatever the fuck he wants. So Drawley in this situation, Drawley can get away with going for Stizzy. Drawley can get away with coming all the way down here and bullying Jorus, right? He can get away with all that until right now. Now we're going to want to see Drawley like start coming back, and we can probably, like, that'll probably be exactly what happens. You can tell that's exactly what happens. Now why is that, right? And it's because initially with Vatira here, this is a pretty safe option, right? Because we still have Addo that has a turn. But as soon as this happens, it leaves a situation where it's like we don't want Stizzy to have any sort of advantage here. And by Addo being the only one with a turn on the ball, he kind of has that. So we can see Drawley immediately comes back because he wants to fill in this space that Vatira is not going to be able to competently fill. And we can see Drawley's just going to fill in for support here. Well, he's playing this right here, but this is exactly what I mean. He plays in support here pretty well. So I don't disagree with that. Still plays in support here. Really good. Drawley, a little bit close. I like that he slowed down a little bit. They've got like a Congo line going on, or Congo. I don't fucking know the word. And I don't care, actually, either. What the fuck's going on? Sorry, it's so early in the morning for me. I'm like tripping. And this video, it feels like it's been 8 hours since I started. Okay, this is fine. I mean, we'll look at this. We'll look at this real quick. Nice. Pretty good. I like this. This was all very intentional. Appjack, very intent. He was just waiting for... He was actually baiting him in a little bit. As soon as Addo got super close, Appjack just let it rip. But we'll look at this from Addo, because Addo definitely should have known he was getting baited. Like in this situation, Appjack is so clearly in control of the ball. I think Addo thought that he could get something quick like here, but that's just not the case. In this situation, everyone has to understand where the fuck is Vatira and Drawley in this situation. Okay, if you know that, you already kind of know what I'm about to say. Look at Drawley. All right. Look at Vatira. All right. Addo could literally just let Appjack play this through, and at the very least, he could let Drawley come through. And it would have been so much better, and Addo wouldn't be all the way on their fucking corner right now. Now, granted, Addo's going to try and get value out of this by going for like a Stizzy or a Jorus because he's able to. Okay, he plays the passing opportunity, which is also a possibility, but we're just using a lot of players for no reason. And that's why it ends up like this, where it's like, why the fuck did we even do that? Drawley literally could have just made a play instead. Like, let's look at Drawley. What option could Drawley done? The only way something like this works is if this pass comes immediately back to Drawley in split seconds and somehow lands perfectly, and Drawley's able to perfectly put it on the net without interruption from Jorus, you know? So it's just like, why the fuck did we even do that? But instead, Drawley could have taken a little bit more time. Like, this was just incredibly quick. Maybe he was worried about Appjack in this situation, but we could have taken time, played a smaller touch, try to get the ball to the ground, play something on net here. Playing over into Addo in this situation, I just don't see it working out very consistently, because all Stizzy has to do in this situation is just wait. And Stizzy didn't even seem like, it seemed like he didn't even fully know Addo was there. I feel like if he did know, he probably wouldn't have turned like that. Like in this situation, if I know a player's like over there, honestly, you can just still play facing up like this, because it's like, what the fuck is Addo even gonna do in that situation? And at that case, like Joru should immediately start playing out a little bit more, and then the play would look like Stizzy's facing up this way and Joru's is looking out this way. So like everything would have been covered, and that's kind of how it went. It's just Joru's backs up a little bit because Stizzy is so like comfortably going for this, which is okay. Nothing wrong with that. It's pretty good. Okay, not bad from Stizzy. Could have been executed better, but conceptually it's pretty good. Jolly? Okay. So, in this situation, it's like, maybe, I think Jolly's immediately just thinking, like, I'm going to get some sort of offensive option here, which is okay. You don't really ever expect a touch like this. This is fucking interesting. But, you know, I'll go ahead and show it to you guys, but it's like, you know, what the fuck is even going on? I guess. I wouldn't have expected it either if I was Jolly, so I don't really blame his positioning. Like, I can sit here and like nitpick it, but truly, I just don't think you ever like expect a touch like that. So it's whatever. This could go many different ways. This is still okay though. Dig is gonna be able to take the ball out of here probably. Oh, okay. Abjack really trying to get in there. Fuck, a little eager lad. Oh my, oh brother. A little eager, are we? I just, when you have that much momentum like that, you know, I feel like some people, I'm not saying that Appjack feels this way, but I feel like some people, they just think like, oh, I'm going so fucking fast, they'll never know what I'm doing next, I'm so quick. But it's like, when you go quick like that, it's like very obvious what you're gonna do next. Here, I'll give you guys an example. Like, let's look at this from Addo. I wonder what Abjack's gonna do. That's why he jumps. Like, of course Abjack's gonna go for this fucking instantly. And it's like, you're cooked. You're cooked. You've let your intentions be known. But you know what outplay potential Abjack could have had in this situation, truly, is if he came up here on the wall, landed, and didn't even fucking jump, truly. That would have given outplay. I'm not saying he should do that in this situation, but I'm just saying, like, as an example of like outplay potential in this situation. If you wanted to be, now he could do that. He truly could. He has a teammate back here, which kind of allows him to just sit here. And if the ball comes over here, then it's like Abjack can literally just jump out. Or right now he could already be dipping back towards the net, which is significantly different than doing something like this. But Stizzy will be fine. Stizzy's got Jorah's too, so he'll be fine. Yeah, ends up playing it out. It's pretty good. Not a bad reset. Pretty good dunk as well. I like that. It's pretty good. Okay. Abjack is getting really eager. He looks like he's really, really locked into the momentum of this game. I don't know if this is out of like stress or like, I don't know. He doesn't, I don't know. He didn't seem as much like, as like locked in with the decisions as like earlier in the game. Oh, okay. You can see Abjack is just very, very in there, and it's causing him to be a little bit out of position at times. But overall, I don't really fully. Oh, okay. This could be risky. Yeah. Like I said, I don't know what has occurred in Abjack. He's got like the Hulk transformation all of a sudden. Like, I don't know what's going on. But this isn't even super threatening to like jump for immediately. Like, if we don't jump immediately, maybe we even make Vatira take a little bit more time here. But if Vatira knows that a player is jumping now, he's gonna go for the beat 9 times out of 10. And you have to be able to get high enough, and it's just not even fucking possible from down there. So I think that was a bit unnecessary, but it's okay. Like, you could do it. You could. I just feel like it's unnecessary. Okay. Oh my god. Abjack is just doing a lot, but he ends up getting his touch. So, you know what, man? Good for you, bro. You know, good for you, man. That was a pretty good touch. Okay. No, I actually like that. Abjack seemed like, you know, he was thinking a little bit about that one. I like that. Okay, cool. Okay. Abjack has some unnecessary maneuvers, like movements that he's doing, but overall, I get what he's looking to do. But his execution is really sloppy right now. I don't know why this turned into an Abjack video, but you know, we can look at some other things. This is fine. Like, if I haven't called out a different option, it's because I think they did like one of the better options they could have done. So like, I don't want to make this video too long. I already don't know how long it's been, but if I haven't called out an option, it's because I probably think that it was like an okay option or one of the better options, just maybe executed poorly. That does not mean that everything that I haven't called out isn't bad though. You guys are smart. I feel like my YouTube community is pretty smart. What would you guys think? You guys are biased. Don't answer that. I would say that you guys are pretty smart cookies compared to some other community. Oh, that was clean. I'm not gonna lie. That was fucking sexy. Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. Let's talk about this. So this was just fucking brilliant. I won't lie. This was brilliant. This was really well played. On top of that, though, I mean, it was a whatever read from Vatira. It was like whatever. But that was really I'm not saying that was like a bad read or anything. It was just a very easy read, relatively. But that was pretty good. I like that. Good by Vatira, keeping the game going. I actually like that look, but kind of dodged in for no reason there. In a situation like this, we should have already, like, this is what we're like not seeing here. If we see this though, Vatira does not do all this shit 100%, which is once again why awareness is so important. When you miss variables like this, you're just fucking cooked. Like, truly, you're just cooked. Like, now we have Vatira with like all this boost coming in to mid here, and like we can't do a fucking thing. And then Addo just fucked up his execution of it. Drawley's coming in. It's not bad. You know, so like, I don't have a problem with Drawley not facing, or not Drawley, sorry, but I don't have a problem with Vatira not like facing this direction to be able to take the outlet, because he still wants to like play supportive options for Drawley here. He doesn't want to dip out too quick or just assume that it's gonna come out. If he does that, it could be bad in this specific situation, because if Stizzy gets like a dunk here, then Vatira's gonna need to be able to play it, because Addo is not in a position to be able to do so immediately. So this is okay. I actually like he's looking around a little bit. Plays a little bit of a couple of slows here. Really good with his slows. Playing really dynamically. Not exactly what Addo wanted, but Vatira might be able to play out of it. Okay. This is fine. This is good. I like that. Oh, no. This is... Oh, no. Oh, no. Stizzy's not... I already called that. I fucking knew. I'm so smart. I just know this game too well, bro. Now, how did I know that they were about to get scored on? Because it's something I've talked about in all my videos. Pacing. Look at this. Check it out. This is exactly how I know. Boom. That was a player. Jorus. Gone. Appjack. Gone. Stizzy immediately needs to play pacing. Right now. Stizzy does not. He hits it away. Does not get a 50. Right? As soon as, like, and it's just cooked. It's cooked. So, I mean... Yeah, that's that. Not much else to say, I guess. I know I'm gonna put this probably in my intro, but if you want coaching, hit me up on Discord. If you like the video, also subscribe. I don't know if I'm gonna post that often. I guess I can just take the end of the video to yap a little bit, but it's like I'm not really a fan of Rocket League in its current state. I don't really like a lot of the decisions that Epic and Psyonix are either like doing or refusing to do, and I am just ultimately very disappointed by the state of the game right now. I think it's in not a very good place, contrary to what all the Epic dick writers are gonna tell you, like all the Epic partners. The game's just not very fucking good, not gonna lie. I would much rather play literally anything else but Rocket League, and that's kind of what I've been doing. But yeah, no, I'm gonna try to put out videos. The only reason I put out videos is literally just because, like, I put out this video today. I wanted to help you guys out. You know, I try to help the community out as much as I can. Sometimes I get some hate for my videos because I speak very, you know, candidly, I guess is the way to put it. But I really appreciate you guys. I really only made this video because I was looking at some of my comments, and you guys are so kind to me. Like, a lot of the time, like, you guys leave me really kind comments. I really appreciate that. And genuinely, I'm just trying to help. So, like, if you guys have any questions about stuff, just leave them in the comments. I appreciate you guys if you've watched to this point. You're a fucking real one. I might actually take a card hit for you right now. Hold up. I'm just fucking, yeah, but I don't even care. I literally don't care. All right, here we go. Ooh. Holy shit. All right. See y'all later. Y'all have a good one.